Okay, you guys, we are back with another video. In this video, we're going to talk about Sean Diddy Combs facing a new DA probe and potentially new criminal charges following a case that involves a publicist by the name of Jonathan Hay. Jonathan Hay filed a police report in September of 2025 claiming that Diddy battered him in 2020 and in 2021 again. No. They are currently investigating this case, and it is currently being reviewed, according to DA spokesperson Venus Dunn. What Jonathan is claiming, yes, he's a white guy publicist. His claims are somewhat similar to that of Lil Rod, right? No, he filed a police report in his hometown back in 2025, and that report later got transferred to authorities in LA where Diddy had allegedly committed the crime. What he said is that he was working on Christopher Biggie Small Wallace remix with Biggie's son CJ Wallace, and Diddy would show up at times while they were working. Diddy, of course, we know he's Biggie's longtime friend, mentor, producer, and all of that jazz, right? So, Jonathan is claiming that in 2020, he ended up in a room with Diddy, and Diddy started to masturbate in one of Biggie's shirts before telling Hay to come finish him off in a sexual sense. So Hay claims Diddy took the shirt he had ejaculated in and threw it at Hay. I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't believe this man. I don't believe him. It's not sticking for me. Some of the things that he says, and based on his size, it's not sticking for me. And because Sean Diddy Combs has a pattern, and the pattern here is not synonymous to anything that happened with the male, because of that, it's not sticking for me. However, there could also be unique cases, and this could potentially be one such example of a unique case. But it's just not adding up for me. Let me know if this is adding up for you guys, right? So, that was one of his first instances with him, doing what he did in the shirt, throwing that shirt at Jonathan A. and, ejaculated in it. And then what Jonathan Hay is saying is that in March of 2021, he flew to LA to continue his project with CJ, and again ended up with Diddy inside a room. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds comical. And you guys know I have a good eye for these things. I've never said a lawsuit is foolish without it being proven to be as such at the end of the day, right? So, this man is claiming that he ended up in a room again, and Diddy called him a snitch and forced his manhood into his mouth. So Diddy forced his manhood into Jonathan Hay's mouth. We've been hearing on the internet that Diddy literally has nothing. I haven't seen the videos or the tape, and to be honest, I don't want to see them either, right? No. The LAPD department, the detectives investigated for several months, and they recently submitted the case to the DA, who will determine if there's enough evidence to charge Diddy. But to be honest, guys, I don't think they have any evidence whatsoever in this case. I honestly think that for some reason this man is lying, and it could be that he's been orchestrated to put into that position so as to apply some more pressure to Diddy, because Diddy might still have something that one of his handlers may need to get out of his hands, and they may be looking at it like, okay, so you're not letting this go, so here's what we're going to do. We can get it the easy way, or we can get it from you the hard way. And so far, Diddy has demonstrated that he's very, very much fearful of spending time behind bars. He's demonstrating that he's fearful, of course, and he's running from spending time behind bars. And that ought to be for a reason. Diddy could be very well scared that he doesn't have enough protection and they may want to take him out. But he knows that he can't say that and it just be something that he says and walk away from, right? So as such, they know Diddy wants to get out and they might be applying pressure where it is sensitive for Diddy, and that is by way of adding other allegations, and they have the power to make these allegations stick. Because if you're looking at the Sean Diddy Combs trial, remember, he was found guilty because he transported mail for the purpose of prostitution. And when Judge Arun Subramania realized that he was never held accountable for anything that he did to Cassie, Judge Arun Subramania said that he cannot allow for that to happen. And that's how Diddy was fined $500,000 for what he did to Cassie, because Judge Arun Subramania was saying the evidence to what trauma and abuse Cassie endured, it's overwhelming. And because it's so overwhelming, he cannot just allow the court to ignore it and Diddy get away with it. But the maximum he could have charged Sean Diddy Combs was $500,000. So if Diddy was held accountable on the Mann Act, it's because he transported mail for prostitution. So now that we have a male accuser that is coming out, chances are he might be held accountable. I know the case with Tyrone Blackburn did not go anywhere, and with Little Rod, which was filed through Tyrone Blackburn, that did not go anywhere because that case it was just messy, not filed properly, and he wasn't given the proper legal counsel. If Little Rod had taken his claims to another attorney where he had the money to spend, and that attorney had the expertise to handle such a heavy case, I believe the outcome would have been different. Because while I don't believe everything Little Rod was telling us, I do believe that some of his claims were genuine and real. But nothing became of that case. So with this gentleman, Jonathan Hay, do I believe his allegations? Absolutely not. I think it is comical and ridiculous. But if he has a really good enough attorney, even though comical, even though ridiculous, we might be surprised to see something actually coming from this. But I'm going to keep my eyes peeled to see what happens at the end of the day, and we're going to come back and talk about it as it progresses. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you believe this producer, Jonathan Hay, or do you think that his allegation sounds comical as well? Leave your comment below. I want to hear from you guys, and we're going to talk some more. Peace.